thank you for joining me on today's video. I hope you've all had an absolutely fantastic Christmas. Today's recipe is all about using up that leftover turkey, and I think most of us probably have a fair amount spare. And yes, it's lovely in a sandwich, but sometimes we want some ideas of making something totally different, and that's what today's recipe is about. So I'm making a turkey pasta bake, and it's going to contain pigs in blankets as well. So if you've got those left over, put them in, because it's really tasty with the addition of those as well. You could actually put some stuffing in this or whatever you fancy. Leftover bacon as well would work. But the concept really is to use up that turkey and make a delicious dinner that is just something different from a sandwich or using it up for another roast. This recipe is in my brand new Christmas cookbook. Hopefully you've already got a copy of that, so you'll have the full recipe in the book. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to hit the like button for me and hit the subscribe button below as well. So let's get into it. Let's make my turkey pasta bake. So Christmas is over and we have got leftover turkey to use up. And we want to make something delicious. You know, we don't want it to be bog standard. A turkey curry is amazing, but it's a bit obvious, isn't it? I do love a turkey curry and I will be making one, but I want to bring you some different dishes that I think you're going to really enjoy, but just change it up a little bit, because I think after Christmas, realistically, we don't want to feel like we're eating loads of turkey. You want something really nice. This pasta bake is absolutely ideal. If you don't have turkey and you have chicken, then of course you can use chicken in this instead. This makes a really nice family meal to use up those leftovers. You can put your pigs in blankets in here as well, so it's really, really great. If you're serving 4 people with this dish, then you can use between half an onion and a whole onion. It's really up to you. I've got my garlic in here as well now, so I'm only going to cook this for sort of 30 seconds or so, because I don't want to burn the garlic. I've got a bit of colour on the onion and probably a little bit more than I planned to. That's what happens when you get distracted, isn't it? But never mind. It's not burnt, it's just browned. So optional, deglaze the pan with a little bit of white wine. I'm sure you'll have some wine left over from Christmas. I say that, but I enjoy my wine that much that it's not normally leftovers, because I've normally drunk it. So a little bit of wine in there. Just let that reduce down. Now I'm going to be putting in my tomato sauce. For 4 people, you're going to want a 500-gram jar. Any pasta sauce of your choice. If you don't have pasta sauce but you have chopped tomatoes, you can do that instead. But just be mindful, because this is very liquid, and obviously chopped tomatoes are more chunky. But passata would work as well. You just might want to add a little bit more flavour and herbs in. So I've also got some stock that I have made up, and I'm just filling my jar with it and give it a little shake to rinse that out. So you're going to want 500 millilitres of water or stock. This feels a little bit unusual, because normally I would have cooked my meat in the bottom, but of course we have got leftover turkey, so that's what we're doing. So that is in. I like to season it with some black pepper and salt. It's optional, but I like a tiny little bit of chili, so some dried chili flakes, not a lot. And then really, whatever herb you've got left over from Christmas that you think is going to work with this, go for it. I've got some thyme, so I'm just going to pull that off the stalk there, and I'm going to put some fresh thyme into mine. Basil will work really nice in here. Maybe some rosemary. Oregano would be lovely. So it's quite basic at this stage really, but it works really well, and it's going to cook our pasta, and we have got a fair amount of flavour in there really. So now, as always, don't stir this, but just put your pasta in. And now we can get this under pressure. So make sure your pressure valve up here is on seal, and we just slide across to pressure. Always want a quick release on my pasta, And I find that the penne that I use takes 6 minutes and it is perfect. So I'm going with that. The pressure has just been released. So let's get in there and give this a stir. Oh, perfect. Just the right quantities by the look of things. And that's how we like it. There's nothing worse when you have to keep searing and sauteing things after. Obviously, there are some dishes where it works better for it to be that way. But I always think if you can get your pasta just right like this, it's ideal. Into there, I'm going to add my shredded turkey. There is lots of it. And the heat that's already in there is going to start warming that up. We are also going to bake this as well because it is a pasta bake. So stir that in nicely. That is getting covered in the sauce as well because there's enough sauce that it's going to work with the meat as well. That looks absolutely delicious. Look at that. I'm now going to stir in some Parmesan cheese as well. If you don't want to use Parmesan or you haven't got it and you've got some cheddar, you could stir that in. If you've got a little bit of cream and you want to make it more of a creamy pasta, then you could add that in, or a little bit of cream cheese, totally up to you. Now I've got my pigs in blankets I've chopped up because these were large ones. They've got that bacon around them. So I'm just going to scatter those in. Again, this is about leftovers. So if you don't have them, it's fine, leave it out. If you have them or you've got more of them, then put them all over. And then lastly, I'm going to top this with some lovely mozzarella. So when that bakes, that's going to go so oozy and delicious. I'm just using a grated version. Of course, you can use a fresh mozzarella ball as well. That'd be great. I think I want a little bit extra black pepper on the top of mine. I think that is everything. If you wanted to, you could put this into like a baking tin, like the one that comes with the Ninja bakeware set, and then you can serve that to the table if you prefer. I'm just making that for this tonight for us at home, using up leftovers. So I'm happy just to bake it in the pot as it is, but both options are going to equally work just as well. Basically, I'm just going to, it's all hot. So I'm going to, apart from obviously the turkey and the pigs in blankets, we need to warm those through and melt the cheese. It's really not going to take very long. 7 minutes has done the job. That is lovely and bubbly, and the cheese is melted and crispy on the top. It looks so, so nice. Exactly what you want from a pasta bake. So let's serve some up. Oh, yes. That looks really nice. Stringy mozzarella. Lovely and crispy on the top. We've got those pigs in blankets in there as well. Lovely tomato sauce. That looks absolutely delicious. And that has used up the leftovers perfectly. Here it is, my turkey pasta bake with those leftover pigs in blankets as well. I've had a little taste and it's got a little kick from the chili, a lovely sweetness from the tomatoes, and then of course it's got loads of protein in it as well, which is great. It's going to keep you really full, and the extra cheese on it is just dreamy. I hope you've enjoyed the recipe.